This episode is brought to you by Trailer Park Yard Games, where over 28 games are delivered directly to your party. We park the trailer, you party.
Also, that's such a blessing.
I need people like that just in general, just to cook for me every single
So you're not stuck eating a rotisserie chicken in the car.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. If y'all didn't see my Facebook post, I was starving and I ate not an entire chicken.
No, because you dropped part of it in your lap.
Pow. I still can't find that piece of
chicken.
You
look like a cave woman with bones in your hand.
I know. I kept looking around because I didn't want somebody to see me chowing down.
You didn't want somebody to see you chowing down, so then you filmed it and put it on Facebook.
Puts it on Facebook, yes. And you will find it because at some point in time, God will create it so your nostrils will smell it.
Huh. What?
Oh, he's saying it's going to rot. The chicken's going to rot in your car.
I didn't know.
Let's have a chat, talk this and that with BB and Jaisy.
Hey, I'm Bill Stedham, and to my right?
I'm Sarah Padgett. You scared me because you started really strong.
And I'm Jaisy, the Jaisy to the PB and Jaisy podcast. Welcome.
And we're here today to talk to...
Kim Pratt.
Yeah.
The Kimberly Pratt.
The Kim Pratt. So we've known Kim for a long, long time. In fact, let me tell you a little story about Kim that maybe people don't know. So it was back in April, the exact date, April 30th, 2012. Do you remember that day?
Maybe 2009.
Yeah, 2009.
Do you remember that day?
Do I remember that day?
I don't know what was going on in 2012. And his years are just getting all mixed up.
What can I say? 2009. So they're I'm sure that, blah. But anyways, we're sitting in a Starbucks. That's when we met. So Kim and I met when she first got her license, and that
Can you remember it like it was yesterday?
Yeah, well, for not really.
Except I got the year wrong.
Except it was 2012. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was 2009. So there you go. So that's when I met Kim, and she joined us the next day, and that was the day that I became the manager of this office.
Well, and Kim says that I knew her for like a year or so before I even talked to her.
There's probably some truth to that
maybe.
Because, I think you've walked around and said you don't even talk to new agents until they've been here.
Not until they've been here a while. They have to make it through a couple meetings to know if they're going to stay.
Well, you do have to survive the meetings. Speaking of surviving, Kim, one of the things we wanted to... Yeah, that was
really
good.
Bill's been working.
Yeah, I've been working hard on this. One of the things we wanted to talk about, I think, as you know, is cancer and surviving cancer. And we know that you're a cancer survivor, and
yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, if you would.
Actually, I'm a 21-year cancer survivor, which
awesome.
Is easy to keep track of because every time my son has a birthday, I get to celebrate that year. So we found out that I had cancer, which was very weird. I was young and actually pregnant. So it was we're like, what?
That's like a roller coaster of stuff, right?
Yes. Well, first they didn't know what it was. So then just kind of going through that whole discovery process and figuring out, and then, we're going to send all this stuff to MD Anderson. And we're like, wait, hold on.
What
MD
happened?
Anderson.
Were you not feeling well, or did you feel something? Or
I was actually going to a doctor's appointment, and just things weren't happening like they should. It just things weren't good. And all of a sudden I was like, wait, something's wrong. And when they checked, they were like, oh no, everything is fine. Just be on bed rest and you'll be good. 2 weeks, come back. I'm like, okay. Well, within 1 week, I started having another issue, and I was like, okay, something's not right. So they brought me back in, and they were like, well, this wasn't here like a week ago. And it was a mass that was there, and it was the size of a golf ball.
And it wasn't there the week?
1 week prior.
Oh, wow. That's aggressive, right?
Yes.
So I wanted to ask you, because I think about this a lot. You see things on TV, and you see like these scenarios and setups of people being diagnosed and hearing from the doctor. But take us back to that room and the first time someone said, this is cancer. How does that feel? And what does it look like after that?
Well, I think we were a little prepared because when they said they didn't get enough samples, they need to get more.
Like you knew something was going on.
And then they had to send it to MD Anderson. So we were like, wait, MD Anderson is like cancer thing. So, Sean and I we talked, and, it's like, if it is, it is. There's nothing we can do about it. I mean, if it was, we'll figure out a plan.
How
We'll
old
figure
are
out what
you?
to do.
20s.
20, wait. Oh my gosh. 30. I know I was in my 30s.
And then how far along were you with Preston?
4 months.
Okay.
Wow.
So 4 months pregnant, and then when they came back and then they did tell us what it was, we were like, oh. And then they were like, well, we're going to do what we can for you
Oh,
Not thinking
wow.
about Preston.
and not the baby. And we were like, hold it. No, that's not going to work for us.
Right.
So it needs to be for both, and we need to figure out a way to make it for both.
Good for you, though.
So we prayed a lot, of course. We were at church a lot. I mean, we had a lot of support, which was great. So anyway, after going through like a lot of that, they kind of came up with a plan, and the plan was, oh, we're going to give you chemo while you're pregnant.
Oh my gosh. And I didn't know, before I met you and heard your story, I didn't even know they could do any. Well,
Thing
first of all,
while
I'd never
you're
heard of
pregnant, yeah.
anybody having while they're pregnant. But then what do you do? Because everything is radiation and chemo and things that aren't good for you, right?
Yeah. And because it's poison. And it's
Yeah.
going in your system, through your veins, through everything. And that's where a baby, I thought
everything's going to pass
everything-
over onto him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you're not supposed to have caffeine. You're not supposed to have
But
this.
you can have radiation.
Yeah.
and chemo.
Yeah,
You,
you can
you have
have
chemo?
just chemo.
Chemo, okay.
But yeah, you can have poisonous chemo in your body, which, I mean, it was like, okay, well,
But no lunch meat.
Yeah. No sushi, but
Yeah.
go ahead and have some radiation. No problem.
Yeah, so they, we came up with a plan. Well, it was going to be super aggressive, and I was like, okay. Well, super aggressive means, oh, you're going to lose all your hair. Well, I'm already like big and fat and pregnant, so what's a little being bald at the same time?
Right.
So that was a transition because, you don't know what you look like when you're bald until you shave your head.
Right.
So
Right.
you don't know if your head is, I'm
What
What
kind of
shape
Is
is
it
going to
gonna
be, if there's
round?
lumps
Is it-
or what?
I bet I have like a big birthmark somewhere.
Yeah,
Oh.
you don't know.
Right.
So anyway, I trimmed my hair really short because it was very weird because the chemo, when your hair starts to fall out, it hurts, which who knew that was going to happen?
Does it hurt like when you have, and girls probably know this, but like when you wear it in a ponytail for a long time or something,
Mhm.
like your scalp is sore?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and it was like every follicle hurt.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, okay. And then they said because long, it's pulling
Mm.
on those. So got shorter. And then one night we were just like, Sean and I were sitting there going, he goes, what if we just shave it? I'm like, how about you go get the shaving cream and let's do that. So he got the shaver out and we just did it right there in the kitchen. And it was, I had a cute little head.
Well, and I saw a picture, and this is fast forwarding some, but I saw a picture of you holding Preston, and y'all are both bald because he's a baby.
Aw.
And it's the
Yes.
cutest picture. If you remember, share that with us, and we'll put it somewhere so people can see it. It's the cutest picture. So you're 4 months along,
Mm-hmm.
and you're starting chemo.
Yeah, so actually the chemo, by the time they got everything mapped out, it was probably, I think I was at 7 months.
Oh wow! So it took that long for them
Because
to,
it took a good 2 months to figure out what I had.
Okay.
Because nobody really has cancer while they're pregnant.
Yeah.
Especially that particular kind. I was the 5th reported case in the world.
What kind
Oh my
of
gosh.
cancer was it?
A primitive neuroectodermal tumor.
Oh,
So
Okay.
why do I know all that? Things that I never knew that I was going to know, but it was called PNET for short. But that was it was a Ewingsarcoma. So there were people that had that, but not that specific.
I feel like I
kind.
don't know what you've said the last few minutes.
Yeah.
But we have it recorded, so I can look it up.
So if you were already 7 months along, did part of you think like, well, let me just wait another 2 months and then...
We thought about that, but then it
But it
was
was so
like,
aggressive.
the problem is it was kept growing bigger.
Mm.
So it was the size of a grapefruit by the time we got to that point
Oh my
of
gosh.
a decision we need to do chemo like now because they couldn't operate on it. It was too big.
Hmm.
So 2 months worth of chemo in the hospital. I got to go to Zell-Lipsche Hospital, which was the best hospital ever. They had the best food. So Sean enjoyed coming to visit
Right.
because they had great food. But I had to stay in there for the treatment, and I found out later that the nurse, we took Preston back up there later, like after Preston was born and that kind of stuff, and she was like, I didn't want to do it. She goes, I went in the, I just didn't even want to go in there and give you chemo because I didn't know.
'Cause yeah.
She was like, I've never given a pregnant lady chemo. Because, they come in and it's, I mean, it's like you're going into, I don't know, you see people, covered from head to
Like
toe.
a hazmat suit or something.
It was like, she puts her hazmat suit on to come in there, and I'm going,
what about me?
That's a little scary because,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have that on.
So did they tell you, like, did they know at that point what kind of effects it could have on the baby? Like, did they prep you with any of that, or did they just not know?
It was, as they went through, it was like I had to be on a fetal monitor at first. And I mean, you had to have all kinds of pre-meds and everything because they didn't want you to get sick either. That, because that's such a, of course you see movies. I mean, everybody's sick and all the time. Well, they had so many, which, I mean, this is 21 years ago, so I can't even imagine what they have today. I don't want to imagine that again. But then it was like, if you feel nauseous, you're going to get this. We're going to give you these 5 things so you don't get sick. And then here's this if you get sick. If you still feel sick, have this. If you still feel, I mean, it was a long list of meds. And my box of meds were crazy at the time.
And it was all stuff that I'm sure was still probably questionable being pregnant, right?
Yeah.
And being pregnant, something that a lot of people don't know is you're already immunosuppressed.
Mm-hmm.
And so then going through chemo, you're like extra. So I'm sure anything could get you sick.
Well, and I didn't really get sick at all except for one time. And one time was like pretty bad. And it was something like if you eat fruit, like, and you don't have it cleaned properly or something, but it gives you neutropenic fever, which I was like super, super sick, had to go to the hospital. And I went from like having any kind of color in my skin. I mean, I already don't have hair at the time. So, and even eyebrows, or eyelashes, which was weird, or arm. I mean, just.
I wish my leg hair and mustache hair would fall off,
Yeah.
but nothing else.
So
We all wish that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when that all, happened, and then Sean said I looked gray. Like my whole face just didn't have any color. So it was a quick trip.
So changing it just a little bit, one of the things I know about you is you have an incredible support system.
Yes.
And you grew up in DeSoto, correct?
Yes.
And I believe you're still friends and get together on a regular basis with that support system today.
Yes. Lots of them, especially my best friend from kindergarten. So
let's see, would
wanna
her
shout
name
out?
be? Give her a shout out.
GayLynn, Beason
Yeah.
at Copper Rose in Waxahachie. So
Super cute store.
Yes.
What's Copper Rose?
she has a boutique, just a boutique in downtown Waxahachie.
Okay.
You should go shopping for Anne there. It's really cute stuff.
Ann and I've been there. I knew, but I wanted Kim to say it
it's
just
super
because
cute.
people out there may not know.
Yes, Copper Rose.
So we actually shop there, not for me, for Ann on occasion.
Well, we've seen you on Halloween.
That's where you
Yeah.
got that cantaloupe shirt you wore last episode.
Yeah, no.
So I wanted to just ask you a couple things. So what does follow-up and checkup look like now? Do you still have to go back? Is that
I have to go back once a year.
once a year? Okay.
Mhm.
And
so,
at what point do they transition you to
So after chemo, I had to have 14 rounds total. So after all of that, then it was like, then I went to a 3-month, then I went to 6-month, and then it's a year. So every year I go. I developed some weird, this was 5th reported case in the world of that kind of cancer. And then I developed some odd thing from people who get cancer to have like a blood disorder with platelets. So I have to go back to a hematologist like once a year.
and they're just checking your blood platelets.
Blood platelets, yes. Yeah. And I asked if I could donate, and they said no.
What's amazing though is
'Cause
you
I
have
too many.
What's amazing is you have a beautiful son,
Yes.
21 years old now,
Completely
Preston.
healthy.
He's
not.
completely healthy.
He's crazy, but I don't think that has to do anything with that.
He's
He's
so
a
sweet,
miracle
though.
baby.
Yes,
He's awesome.
absolutely.
He's a miracle.
And he
so-
was born on Sean's birthday, right?
Yes,
So,
so
his dad's birthday.
one-
Sean is his dad, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So he was born on Sean's birthday.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it used to be, what people don't know is Kim used to break down and cry anytime we talked about Preston moving off, or Kim even taking a weekend trip without.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, because he was our only child. So it was actually, he moved away, and it was okay, because the next day I told him, I said, well, I'll see you at work tomorrow,
Yep.
because he works with us. So that is the beauty. I get to see him every day. So
That's
Very
awesome.
nice.
And so since this has happened, your story, have you heard of anyone else having to go through that? It's not common.
It
even now.
actually is more common than probably you would think. Before, whenever it was me, there really wasn't Facebook. There wasn't computers.
People to connect with, the community.
All these crazy things. Well, I'm a member of a site that's like all these people that are pregnant that have cancer that are going through chemo, which I'm like, this is.
Where were these people?
Right. I guess they could have been there, but.
So it sounds like medicine's advanced and the medical procedures have changed.
Mm-hmm.
How's it changed to today? Do you know?
I know they've gotten a whole lot more, of course, advanced, but treatments are shorter. They can treat you at home. My last treatment, they were like, well, do you want to just take the little pack home with you? And I'm like, I could do that. Because before, I had to be in the hospital every time.
And did you have to, so were you staying in the hospital or you just have to go up there to get your treatment? You had to
stay for a week. And that was very hard
sure.
with a brand new baby. Because
I've heard
brand new baby had to go home.
And you were there by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I've heard Sean talk about that kind of time period in your life too. And kudos. First of all, kudos to you for picking such a good man.
Yes.
I won't put too much on Sean, but Sean talks about that and how hard it was. And then,
because he was working full time. He was trying to work full time,
taking care of a baby.
Come drop the baby off at the hospital because I couldn't not see him for a week. That would be terrible. Mm-hmm. So he would drop the baby off. I would have a good support system. My mom, I had a couple of friends at the time that would come sit with me during the day. And then he would pick the baby up on the way home. His mom happened to work at Children's, which is connected to Zale in there. So she would come over at lunchtime every day. And so, it was okay. And I did get to see him. And he was the best baby. He didn't cry, didn't do anything. The nurses were like, this, and he slept all night when he got home with Sean.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe
awesome.
he kind of knew that you needed a break.
Yes.
Let me make this as easy as possible on Mommy.
And I think it was really kind of weird, but I think God gave us Preston at that time. It took my mind. I don't even feel like I was sick, because I had him.
You were worried about him.
Yeah.
But God gave a lot of things for a lot of reasons. One of them is so that today, some 21 years later, you can have messages for other people and help people through it.
Mm-hmm.
What message would you have for someone going through this?
Turn it over to God and let him handle it, and get a good support system. Get some friends around you, because that's important. So,
I think a lot of people try to go it alone, or they don't want to be a burden, so they don't share that, or they,
they need to share.
Yeah.
They need to share and tell people what's going on. Don't be afraid to share.
Mm-hmm.
People will be there for you.
Right. The right people. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if they're not, then maybe they're the wrong people.
That's true. Sometimes
find out.
It's not you, it's them.
Right.
Well, and that's a community, because everybody in the community sits there and grows through and goes through things together, good and bad.
Our church brought food to us for a year.
For a year?
For a whole year. And we were going to Ovilla United Methodist at the time. And we gained some amazing friends.
I thought you were going to say
I thought you said gained so much weight.
I didn't lose any weight.
Thing.
I didn't lose any weight during chemo. I don't know. Some people did, but maybe because all these sweet ladies, they were, they didn't know how to cook for like 2.
Right.
Or 2 plus Preston.
So they would cook for like 6.
Oh, you'd get and they wanted to bring food like every night. And I'm like, okay, can we do like every other day?
Yeah.
We have leftovers from yesterday.
We have so many casseroles.
I know. Can we break it down to like once a week? Because it would just be, it was so good and it was amazing. We did not have to do anything for
That's
a year.
awesome.
That's such a blessing.
I need people like that just in general, just to cook for me every single
So you're not stuck eating a rotisserie chicken in the car.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. If y'all didn't see my Facebook post, I was starving
I did.
and I ate not an entire chicken.
No, because
probably
you
a
dropped
quarter
part
of
of
a
it in
chicken.
your lap.
I still can't find that piece
You
of
look
chicken.
like a cave woman with bones in your hand.
I know.
Well, I kept looking around because I didn't want somebody to see me chowing down. I had the
you didn't want someone to see you
long as-
chowing down, so then you filmed it and put it on Facebook.
Puts it on
Yes.
Facebook,
Yes.
and you will find it, because at some point in time, God will create it so your nostrils will smell it.
What?
Oh,
That-
he's
that
saying it's
chicken
gonna
is
rot.
gonna
The
rot.
chicken's gonna rot in your car.
I didn't know what you were talking about. Find what? Like the video? You'll find the video?
Hey, as long as you don't throw it out in the side of
Oh,
the
yeah, the chicken.
chicken
So
bones
we
out your
had-
car window. Yeah.
We had some other questions for you too. Tell us something you're reading, something you're listening to. What have you been intaking lately?
I like to listen to I like to listen to business stuff, but then I like Trent Shelton. I think he's really good.
Who's that?
He has, let's see, I met him at a conference that was.
Just some man that you met at a conference.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Sean?
Sean, are you listening?
No, Trent Shelton, he was a football player, but he's an inspirational speaker, but he has one called Straight Up. You were there, Sarah.
Oh, was I?
Yes.
You met the guy.
I don't know people's names.
You disappeared
With
for a little
Rachel
bit
I
with
know who
us.
you're talking about. Is he the guy with the like real like powerful voice?
Yes, and just loud, and he came out and jumping on the.
He was
the
good.
set. He's very inspirational, and not just positive. And he always has positive posts, and everything is positive that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like to listen to people that are on the positive side. I did listen to Rachel Hollis a lot, but I mean, I don't listen to a ton of those, but I'm reading Green Lights right now because I did buy
it's so
it.
good. Are you listening to it?
Well, I had to download the.
You got to hear his voice.
Yes. So
We're talking about Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
That's
so I
right.
had to get the download. So
That's what I've heard.
when I found out that he was reading it, I was like, oh.
It's such a good read because he's so dynamic as he reads it with the different accents and the way
He could say whatever he
says things.
wanted to
He
to
could
me.
say
He doesn't even have to read a book.
anything to me, and somehow
Tom is in the room, Jaisy.
yes.
We've lost Jaisy.
Let's move along.
I wonder
Move along.
if Tom could master that accent. He doesn't look like he could talk like that, but I think he
Tom
should
has
try.
other tricks up his sleeve. It's fine.
Oh.
On that note, Mom, Dad, sorry, scroll on.
Don't worry, your parents don't know how to listen to a podcast.
Yeah, they don't.
It's
My
fine.
dad's still trying to navigate how to get to it.
So, okay, and then what about a shout out? I know you gave a shout out to GayLynn and Copper Rose. Anybody else or any other local businesses?
Well, I had a business to share that's a little tough right now.
You're okay.
Sorry.
Don't say sorry. You're good.
Buffalo Wings and Rings, favorite restaurant, just lost the owner. So,
And there, I'll let you take
Sorry.
a second. Don't say sorry. You're good. We had the pleasure of meeting him, and it's Bill. What's Bill's last name? Melton. Sorry. And very dynamic man, very big personality. And Kim
Definitely.
actually was their realtor, helped them find the location, and they're over off. Is it Six Flags Drive?
it's over off of Lamar and Ballpark Way.
Okay, so right over there by the stadium.
Yes.
Best blue cheese in the world. I don't
Oh.
even like blue cheese dressing.
I hate
Blue cheese dressing.
Yeah.
Blue cheese
Don't
dressing.
don't
but
put
it's
trees
good.
in your dressing.
It's really good. Don't
I'm
wear
not a
pants
fan
over
of blue cheese.
But theirs is
anywhere,
good.
But theirs is homemade and it was really, really good. So
So it's a pretty big restaurant in a high
Sports
traffic
bar.
area, sports bar, but it's pretty
Upscale.
much family, like him and his wife and his son, right?
yes.
Okay.
So 2 sons. So they are they have the restaurant. That was a big vision for him, and he was a longtime Applebee's person, and wanted to do his own thing, and he did, and he did it really well.
Well, so in on that front, they're looking for. Are they still looking to hire? I'm sure everybody's hiring right now, but
There's always
Yeah.
a need. Yes, short-handed, probably in all areas, for sure.
okay.
We will be sure to link their
And
information
that's
down
Buffalo
below.
Wings and Rings in Arlington, and really good food. Really, really good food. It's a great place to watch Cowboy game. If you're not a Cowboy
sure.
fan, I totally get it.
It's
but
right there by the
You
stadium.
can watch
too.
other stuff too.
They have other groups. I think there's a whole group that goes and watches the Washington Redskins games.
We don't recommend that.
Why,
but-
why would people do that?
They put them in the back. But,
Oh, okay.
But
They have their
do-
own little section.
They do because I mean
There's no lights or
I
anything
can't
back
remember how
there.
many TVs are in there. Crazy amount.
It's a ton. And they have a little
Um,
patio area and
Yes, but yeah, they do have different teams come up, but they're always doing all kinds of events and all kinds of things. So any support that you can send their way would be, I'm sure, greatly appreciated now, since Bill is not there.
for sure. I'm sorry about Bill. He was you meet those kind of people, and especially not knowing someone super intimately, like I just know of him and met him a few times, but to know someone that you don't know is no longer around, it's weird,
Yeah.
because you know they're gone. And they leave such a big hole when they're such a big personality like that. But he's such a great man and a giving man. He gave Michael way too much free beer on several occasions. I think he called us one night. I called Michael one night because he knew Michael could drink. He has the ability. And he called. He's like, hey, we got a keg we need to empty. And I didn't know who else to call. And Michael.
Before he
Did
called
Mike-
and finished
did Michael
talking,
go up there?
Michael was gone.
I don't remember what
You
happened.
just heard him like just loudly backing out of
Yeah,
your
you just heard the
driveway.
tires squealing.
Yeah.
But okay, so we have, I don't know, did y'all have a couple more questions or do y'all want to go to tales? Because I think you probably have a tale to tell us too.
Let's go into Tales from the Lockbox.
Do you have a crazy tale to tell us? It doesn't have to be real estate related. It can just kind of be
I know
about.
y'all have had some crazy things
Oh
happen.
yeah, I'm sure y'all.
I'm sure. One that I guess one that I can think of probably that's pretty funny, I thought, but it was work related. So I was going to a listing appointment and had everything prepared, everything ready to go. Familiar with the neighborhood. Got there early, went in. Lady answered the door. Sweet lady, went in, started talking to her.
I think I
Sat
remember this
down.
one.
Sat down. She showed me around. Showed me the house. We were sitting there talking. I mean, it was a good 30 minutes. I know it was a good 30 because we're talking. I even gave her listing presentation. I'm going through like everything with this lady. Super sweet. And she was like, I was just curious. How did you know that I was thinking about selling? And I think I wanted to just maybe slide out of my seat. I don't know. I was like, I talked to, and it was her pastor that had referred me. And she said, oh yeah. I said, do you know, I said, well, so-and-so told me, to come over and talk to you that you were interested in selling. Oh, she goes, wait, now what's his name? And this started getting like really bad. I'm going,
no.
oh
no.
my gosh. And she said, and I was looking down and I was like, now, what's your address? And I had the address wrong.
Oh my goodness.
God sent you to the lady that needed you.
Yes.
But you got the listing, didn't you?
Yeah.
She didn't end up listing. She still has her house, actually. And
Oh
this
my
was a
goodness.
few years ago.
Oh my goodness.
But she was the sweetest lady. I mean, I talked to her, but I actually needed to be at the neighbor's house.
You should have sold her a vacuum or something.
I
That
know.
was too
Well,
easy.
she
Wow.
was. I thought she was going to list. I mean, she was kind of.
She let you go through everything. That's amazing.
How did you know?
Yeah, but when that question came out, I was like, oh, okay. Well, then, of course, I was late to my actual appointment because I'd been over there, and I had to go knock on that door and apologize that I was actually
Sorry.
late.
How did you explain
I was doing
that?
a listing presentation with your neighbor. You sent her one of those
Guess
mail.
what
Guess what I
I
did
did?
with your neighbor last night?
Well,
Actually, 30 minutes ago.
I said, well, I'm so sorry. I was actually at your neighbor's house, and she let me in, and she was talking about listing her house, and I thought I was at the right place.
Oh my gosh.
But that was a little embarrassing.
That's awesome.
Just
Well, we
just
told
a-
Sean's story about hitting the client's car a few weeks ago. That was
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
funny. Yeah.
Oh, and for him to call me and tell me that was.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they got the house.
Well, and Jaisy has
Yes.
one too. That's
Yes.
pretty good.
I figured I would go with like a crazy medical story since we're kind of talking about like hospitals and stuff like that. So my previous I was going to be a doctor. So anyway, I was a scribe for a urologist. And
That sounds
so
like fun.
it was actually a really cool job because you get to like go in and on the like not just the exams. You see a lot of naked people, but
Sign me up.
which is why I wanted to be a doctor. But yeah, so you're just like going around and anything that happens, you're just putting it into the electronic medical record. So we go to see this patient one day who's a lady. The urologist was a female as well. And so she, there's this thing called prolapse, which is weird. It's basically where like, it's like a hernia where it's weird. Anyway, I don't even want to go into any of that. If you want to look up where prolapse is. Anyway, so this lady comes in and she's like talking about, oh, I have this abdominal pain and all of this and that. She was like, I used to have prolapse, but then I got it fixed. And so the doctor's like, oh, like, did you have a surgery? Like, I don't see anything in here where you've had anything like that done. And she's like, oh no, I'm from the country. And what we just get it taken care of with a potato. She's like, what are you talking about? So then she's like, okay, let's go ahead and do an exam. So the way that they would fix this prolapse was they would basically put a potato inside of them to hold up like a wall. and it had been in there for years.
What?
And it had sprouted, and she had to have surgery to get this potato removed.
What?
And what's crazy is the fact that she had all of this pain and never,
no, you broke Kim.
and she never thought to herself, maybe it was that potato that I put in there like 4 years ago.
So how long can it stay in? I'm just asking
No,
for a friend.
Well, it apparently stayed 4 years.
Do not put a potato inside of your body under any circumstance.
Oh my goodness. You know, on that, I think we need to level up. I was going to have mashed potatoes tonight, but I don't think so.
Okay, your body temperature is not hot enough to bake the potatoes, so that's where the error was. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna level up and get out of this as quick as we can.
Move along.
So, what I wrote down was a quote that I found from Peter Marshall. Bill's gonna laugh through this. And this is a serious quote, but we just talked about potatoes inside. So, okay, so what'd you say?
I just said, oh, geez.
Oh, geez. Okay, so when we long for life without difficulties, remind us that oaks grow strong in contrary winds and diamonds are made under pressure. So that being said, like, don't wish that your life were easier, because it just, part of life is going through difficulties, and that's what makes us stronger. So I really feel like, Kim, what you went through, it's not that we deserve what we get. You went through something that made you stronger and has made you a better person, and your family is strong knit for that reason. So just an encouragement to you guys, anybody going through anything tough, just know that that's what makes us who we are.
I love that. Love that. Love that. And this has been a great episode. Thank you, Kim, for being here.
Thank you, Kim.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Everyone, like us. Tell us what you think about our show, whether you like us or not. You can find us on any place where you can download your podcasts.
And keep potatoes in the right place.
Yes.
Yeah,
Please
and
do not.
oaks. Put oaks and potatoes in the right place. With that, we're out.
We out.
Bye.
Just had a chat, talk this and that with PB and JC.